Hello everyone, my name is Julie Delosandri and I will be discussing the reintroduction of American shad in the James River, Virginia. Historically, American shad migrated up to 250 miles upstream in the James River. By the 18th century, American shad had become one of the leading commodities. However, increased dam construction and habitat alteration prevented the species from reaching historic migration and spawning locations. By 1980, the state of Virginia began restoration efforts, primarily focusing on the construction of fish passage facilities in the three major dams. Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries began their restoration program in 1992 that reintroduced millions of hatchery-raised shad into the upper James River. Once the final fish passage opened in 2002, the state was confident that the American shad population would thrive. However, in 2003, only 200 fish migrated through the fish passages, and less than 50 were recorded in 2008. In 2017, decades of steady decline in the American shad population resulted in Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries to close their restoration program. Our vision statement for this adaptive management plan is to provide a healthy environment free from restriction for prosperity of Virginia's American shad population in the James River. In order to address the issues described, we have developed 1 no-action alternative and 2 action alternatives for American shad management in the James River. These management alternatives are designed as distinctly different approaches that address the management of historic spawning locations and migratory patterns of the American shad, along with regulatory approaches to the James River and its tributaries. For this adaptive management plan, Alternative C is our preferred alternative and proposed action. Alternative A, this no-action alternative would continue current management efforts and will provide a basis for comparing other alternatives. The Virginia Marine Resources Commission, along with other state and local authorities, would continue enforcement of the American shad moratorium, in addition to enforcing current bycatch regulations. The Virginia Institute of Marine Science would continue support management efforts with the continuation of their American shad monitoring program, and the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries would maintain current operations and continuation of the fish passage projects. Alternative B would address conservation and management efforts in the major tributaries of the James River, to include the Chickahominy River, Appomattox River, and the Pagan River. First priority would be to reestablish the hatchery restoration program, and also work with Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries to prioritize fish passage, dam removal projects in the major tributaries. Support from Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District to address water pollution sources and increase riparian forest buffers, and utilize the James River Association to introduce programs to educate the public on present and future American shad restoration efforts. Alternative C is our preferred alternative and would best accomplish the purpose and need of this plan while protecting natural resources and providing American shad populations access to historic spawning locations free from restriction. Alternative C would address conservation and management efforts in the James River and all tributaries by reestablishing the hatchery restoration program, prioritizing dam removal with fish passages installed as alternatives, address water pollution sources and increase number of riparian forest buffers, and also educate the public on present and future American shad restoration efforts. In 1998, the Virginia Institute of Marine Science implemented an American shad monitoring program, and to this date it is the only program that exists to monitor American shad restoration efforts. So the program uses historic fishing locations on the James River as current monitoring sites to gather spawning stock assessments, hatchery prevalence to evaluate restoration program efforts, a seasonal catch index, total mortality rate, biological data on spawning run, and the biological characterization of permitted bycatch. By comparing annual data to the years prior, restoration efforts can be quickly evaluated and reassessed. So in conclusion, Alternative C is our proposed action as it includes the greatest level of flexibility and provides adaptive management for future American shad populations.